Good morning. It's rather early. Um, I'm guessing somewhere around 3 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to get on a plane again to go to my nephew's wedding, which made me think about marriages and weddings. And I just did my article for the column that I write in Jubilee magazine on love and marriage, which I've been doing that column, I think, since 2011. And then I started RPMs Daily in 2014. And it just kind of falls that on certain days I have to do both. So today I did my marriage article on love and marriage, and I called my husband and I said, hey, if you can just get me started, I can do really well in running with it. But my brain just won't work on just giving me a subject matter. And he said, what about trauma in marriage? You've been studying a lot about trauma, and, since I've had trauma and I am married, I can talk on that subject quite a bit. So I began to think how trauma affects marriages. And if you're interested in that article, you can find it on Jubilee Magazine. And just probably jubileemagazine.com would bring it up to you. But I'm going to read you the article before it goes to print. How about that? And I thought, give you the first. You guys can give me some comments on the first preview, because you'll know all about it before it goes to print. But it starts out, have you ever felt alone in your marriage? Have you ever felt as though your spouse doesn't really care whether you're there or not? Do you feel alone even though you're in a relationship? If the answer to any of these questions was yes, you are not alone. Contrary to what many may think, it is normal to feel alone, and even though you're in a relationship. Feelings, though, are not always accurate. People can feel as though they're in one state, condition, or circumstance and actually be entirely wrong. Feelings lie. Feelings are fickle, and feelings can deceive us. The remedy to this is to talk to yourself and talk to your spouse and ask your spouse questions. Do you feel close to me at this time? What would we do together, or what could we do together to increase our intimacy? Now that's a tough one, because you may not like the answers you get to the questions. If not, then perhaps one of you may have had some trauma. Trauma at one point in one's life, especially between the ages of 3 and 9, can permanently change a person. Trauma can be violations, abandonment, military service, divorce, just to mention a few. If this is the case, then I would suggest counseling. Counseling can be done with a licensed counselor, pastor, or psychologist. The sooner the better. Initially, the one that experienced the trauma should be counseled first, but in the end, it may be that both need to talk to someone, much like Alcoholics Anonymous and Al-Anon. So, according to a study by Cook in 2004, trauma survivors often report a decrease in relationship satisfaction, along with impaired expression of emotion, sexual activity, intimacy, communication, and just plain adjustment to marriage. Those with PTSD have a higher separation and divorce rate. Feelings of hopelessness, helplessness are common among trauma survivors. Trust is most likely an issue for any and all sorts of trauma, and some survivors experience anger and frustrations, others isolate and medicate. For many, confusion and frustration are just a part of everyday life. The other sad thing about trauma is that it can be and often does affect the entire family. Children of emotionally neglected parents, for example, often emotionally neglect their children as well. It's not their fault, but it is their fight, as one of my friends says. In fact, she's the author of a great book that's called Crushing Condemnation. Her name is Teresa Verdecchio, and her book is available on Amazon. I have found it to be a great help to both partners and parents that have failed in both arenas. My next article will go into more detail, but for now you can contact me at my website at renabarozich.com for any questions and help. Just remember, God is a very present help in trouble. There is hope, there is help, and there is healing available. And I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself. God bless.